She's a big football fan, said she'll watch the game after the race today. So we welcome Danica and all of you to Sunday Night Football. Robbie Gould to kick off for Chicago. Courtney Roby will be running back the kick. Roby is an Indianapolis native who went to Indiana U in Bloomington. And he will run back the opening kickoff at Lucas Oil Stadium, where they have played 2 preseason games. But this breaks the seal for the real stuff. Marvin Harrison ready to get onto the field. Harrison missing 11 games with an injured knee last year, but he is healthy again. We'll all be watching very closely Peyton Manning. And the Indianapolis Colts favored to get off to a 1-0 start tonight as the ball is in the air, and it's a low line drive. One hopper that's recovered at the 12-yard line by Roby, who brings it out past the 20 and is taken down up at the 30-yard line. Tackle made by Darryl McClover. And here comes Manning now. Only Brett Favre has started more games. Brett a winner today in his Jets debut against Miami. 161 consecutive starts. He started the first game in his rookie season. The #1 draft choice overall in '98, has not missed a game, has not missed a start, so number 161 tonight, but his first action of the season, not a single preseason snap.
It'll be interesting to see if this is a play-action pass. Tony Dungy has a charity, and the people that gave some money to the charity came and he let them call this first play, and they called a play-action pass. I think Peyton Manning just audibled out of it.
Takes the snap out of the shotgun, faces the inside give, and then the pass is incomplete as the intended receiver was Gian Robinson. Again, the Colts through the years, especially since Manning has come aboard, Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator, go no huddle. And there is Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator in his late 60s, and as he says, he doesn't call the plays, he just sends in concepts.
Well, with Peyton Manning in his 11th year and the way he works and studies and knows football and knows his personnel, he can be really the coach out on the field.
2nd down and 10. He's working with a new center, Jeff Saturday, with a sprained MCL. Will be out for a few weeks. So you've got Jamie Richards snapping it. And here's a Dye's first carry of the season to the 35-yard line. Let's take a look at the Colts starting offense. And a momentary injury timeout. Lance Briggs went down. So that's why we have the clock stoppage. Jamar Williams will come in an outside linebacker. Briggs, one of the best in the league. There was a question as to whether they'd be able to re-sign him, and they have. So they're all set in terms of that. But right now, Briggs will need some attention on the bench. 3rd and 6. They bring Gonzalez into the game as the third wide receiver. He's to the bottom of the screen. They've got Wayne in the slot and Harrison outside to the right with Manning in the shotgun.
We're going to see right here how comfortable Peyton is in the pocket.
Backs up, steps up, fires to the left side. That looks pretty good. Anthony Gonzalez makes the catch. So he felt the pressure, was able to step up. Looked like the same old Peyton on that one.
They're right, and the answer was pretty comfortable. You know, and that's what he had to do because, you know, the Bears know that, you know, he's going to have a problem, that he hasn't had any live games, so they're going to blitz him, and they're going to blitz him straight up the middle, try and pressure him up there, and he gets out of it, gets his feet in the proper position to be able to throw that ball for a first down.
Stepped away from the safety blitz from Kevin Payne that time. And from the 44. Toss back to a Dye who cuts it back inside, but then gets whacked by Agunlaya. Let's take a look at the Chicago starting defense. Briggs missed 2 plays, and he's back in the game on 2nd down and 13 now after a loss of 3 from the 41-yard line.
And the Bears defense is up there in the line of scrimmage faking blitz all the time.
4-man rush. Manning has that one deflected at the line of scrimmage. That one was deflected by Israel Adonijah, number 71, who rotates in at defensive tackle.
See, here's what he sees is that double A gap blitz. You get both the linebackers up in here in these gaps. So now you have to call protection to take care of those guys. So they can either come in that position or, like this play, they drop out into pass defense. So you have to call a protection that will take care of them then when they drop out, you're left with less receivers.
Adonijay was doubled on that play and still got a hand up. 3rd down and 13. Showing blitz again. Here they come. The blitz is picked up, and the pass is there, but incomplete. Gonzalez had it, couldn't hold on. Nathan Vasher with the coverage, but he'd gotten behind him, and Mike Brown, number 30, with the safety blitz that was picked up nicely.
And see, we showed the play before where they're standing up there in those double-A gaps, and they dropped out. They didn't come in a blitz. That time, Urlacher dropped out, and they brought the safety on an overload to their right side.
And now you've got Devin Hester. In 2 years, he's already established himself as one of the greatest of all time returning punts and kickoffs. It figures to be a high floating kick. It is. It's a little bit deeper than I think Dungy would have liked. Here's Hester with a chance to run it back from the 8-yard line. Hester already to the 20. And Hester does get tripped up at the 32. Dungy told us yesterday that he would have his punter, Smith, kick them high and short. That was high and long, and that's what Hester could do. 25-yard run back. The Colts in love with their locker room, about 3 times the size of the old one, Lucas Oil Field, in downtown Indianapolis, just across the lot from the RCA Dome. Now the Bears, their first offensive play of the season. Kyle Orton is the quarterback, and the rookie Matt Forte is the running back, and there is a flag down. The whistles, I think, stopped the play before the play, which is a break for Chicago here. The referee is John Parry.
False start, illegal snap on the center, number 57, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's the Pro Bowler Olin Kreutz.
You know, sometimes they double clutch it. They start to get, yeah, he did double clutch it. He started to snap it, realized that wasn't a snap count, tried to hold it, and then brought it again. That was all on the center, Olin Kreutz.
That's an ominous beginning to the season. Hester is wide to the right. They hand the ball off to the rookie out of Tulane, Forte, and he takes it up to the 29-yard line. Let's take a look at that Chicago offense. Tate moves from left tackle to right tackle. St. Clair goes from right tackle to left tackle. 2nd down and 14 on a draw. This is Forte, and he's taking the spot occupied by Cedric Benson. Remember, they spent that 4th overall pick on Benson. Benson and Jones shared time a couple of years ago. They let Jones go. He went to New York, had a pretty good day today. In their win, Benson didn't cut it, and he got cut. And now it falls to the rookie Forte, 6'2", 216 pounds.
And they all like him. He has quick feet as a runner, and he's very good in the passing game, not only as a receiver, but as a pass protector.
And he stays in. He's an every down back. He's in on 3rd down. He stays in to block. He helps out, and then Orton has that one deflected and incomplete. Dwight Freeny coming around the corner. Freeny missed the last half of last season with a foot injury, a Lisfranc injury. Took him a long time to recover, played very sparingly in preseason, puts the pressure on here.
Yeah, that's the matchup that they're worrying about right there. John St. Clair against Dwight Freeny. They were trying to help him out with Matt Forte, but Freeny just kind of ran right by and right through both of them. Freeny, one of the great pass rushers in the league.
Veteran punter is Brad Maynard. He is in his 12th season. It's a high and very short kick, and Ratliff will let it bounce, and it stays in bounds for a few more yards. He got a nice break on that one because that could have been about a 30-yard kick, and instead it bounces all the way down to the 19 for a 45-yard kick. Manning coming out for a second series. Jeff Saturday, the longtime Colts center, sprained MCL. He'll be out about 6 weeks in his 10th year. This is Jamie Richard, played at the University of Buffalo. 7th round pick, and here he is on opening night snapping the ball to Peyton Manning.
Right, and that's where the Bears are really going to rush tonight.
Now Joseph Adai will take the ball up to the 24-yard line. Gain of 4. And John, not only do they have the center, but you have a couple of guards in Johnson and Federkyle. Tony Hugo, of course, did a nice job last year taking over for the retired Tarek Glenn, but a lot of things to watch up front among those three.
Those three, and that's when we were talking to the Bears last night defensively. You know, you attack pass protections on passing downs, and that's the area. Those three guys are the area that they want to attack.
2nd and 6. Manning to the outside, and that pass is caught. Inbounds by Marvin Harrison. Harrison with a knee injury, and the crowd salutes Marvin Harrison because it was pretty much of a wasted season last year. He got healthy for the playoffs, healthy enough to play against San Diego, but that day he caught only 2 balls against the Chargers, and one of the receptions resulted in a very costly fumble.
Yeah, and just seeing Marvin Harrison yesterday, he's a different guy this year. I mean, he has a sparkle in the eye, and he has a speed and quickness back, and I would expect that Marvin Harrison is going to have a big year for the Colts.
Fake to a dive. Manning moving out of the pocket, looking nimble, and that pass is caught at midfield by Marvin Harrison. Well, Peyton Manning was telling us yesterday, he said, watch out for him. He said when Marvin gets angry, he gets fast.
Right. And Peyton Manning is looking for him, too. The play before it was a cover 1 or man coverage. Here he's coming out in a bootleg. It's against cover 2. You see the corner come up, and the safety comes over, and he's going to get in between them. The thing that Peyton Manning was worried about, Al, was his footwork. You know, is he going to be able to get his feet in position to throw the ball? That's the first thing that always has to happen, and it looks so far that those feet are getting in the right position.
That's the 900th reception by Harrison from Manning in his career. Speaking about Harrison and being angry, I said to Peyton, I said, so what is he angry about? Well, he's 36 years old, is Harrison. That's old for a receiver. And there are a lot of people, a lot of skeptics, a lot of people in the media who doubt that he can be what he once was. So that makes him angry, and after that it makes him fast.
Right. He says he has a chip, and you know, because some people say that, you know, he's not going to be able to come back, and he's through, and he can't be what he used to. And you know, when you say that to Marvin Harrison or about Marvin Harrison, you're going to find out what he really is.
He's the 2nd oldest receiver in the league. Only Joey Galloway is older by a couple of months. There's a fake inside handoff, and Adai stays in the block, but Manning has to backpedal and throw, and the pass is incomplete, and the crowd looks for a flag, and they get none as Brandon McGowan got there right at the same instant as the ball. And then Urlacher and Manning share some pleasantries.
Well, Brian Urlacher, he got there at the same time that Peyton Manning got rid of the ball, or maybe just a half a step later. See him, he goes to roll to the right, and it looks like Brian Urlacher hits him just after the ball comes out. Oh, I don't know. That's a little ticky-tacky. I mean, I could see if a guy's going for him or going to hurt him. He was just getting his hands up there, Urlacher was. I don't know that I would really call that roughing.
I wouldn't have called that. I thought it was closer to being a penalty for interference than it was for Urlacher roughing the passer.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're trying to protect the quarterbacks, and they should, but that wasn't a protect the quarterback call.
From the 32 now to the penalty. Manning to the left side this time, and this is Gonzalez. He's able to make the catch. Last year's #1 draft choice, 2nd year out of Ohio State. Both feet in with 8 minutes to go in the first quarter, and another first down for the Colts.
And Gonzalez is out here on the left side. This is 3 wide receivers. The corners, the safeties are playing them to the inside. He just drives them up the field and then breaks to the outside. See, Vasher was looking for an inside cut or something coming to the inside. Gonzalez ran an out.
Colts have driven 60 yards in 5 plays. Manning stepping to his left, throwing, and that pass is incomplete. Gonzalez out of bounds, again covered by Vasher, so Peyton comes back the same way, and Manning has started the night 4 of his first 8 for 49 yards.
Yeah, we talked how they were going to attack the pocket. They were going to get, blitz straight up the middle, try and get Peyton Manning off his spot, attack those 3 middle offensive linemen. They've been doing those things, but Peyton Manning has still been able to elude it, get away, and make throws.
2nd and 10. Toss. A dive. Inside the 15. It'll be first down and goal. And one thing that's a little different tonight, the Colts love to run that stretch play where Manning reaches out and stretches out for the handoff. Because of the leg, they're going to throw more tosses tonight as they do there.
Right, it's the same play. It's a stretch play, but instead of Peyton Manning coming down the line, stretching, and getting that handoff to the outside, he's just pitching it. That's the third time that they've done it so far. But how about that move of Joseph Adai there?
On Vasher.
I'll tell you, he is turning into something special. And if the Colts can get that running game, to go with Peyton Manning in the passing game, and sometimes they're darn near unstoppable.
Dominic Rhodes is in the backfield on first and goal, and Peyton will take a timeout. 6:46 left in the opening quarter. No score, but Indy threatening. Retractable roof. Obviously the roof open tonight, and once it's open and they have to declare 90 minutes before the game, it stays open. Third down and goal.
This is the area that they usually look for Dallas Clark down here.
That's Gonzalez coming out of the slot, and that one is stopped before the whistle. Mini slugfest ensues.
False start. Number 71 offense, 5-yard penalty. Third down.
That's Ryan Deem. So the Colts, after driving down to the 7-yard line, have taken 2 timeouts, and now will have a third down and goal as they get pushed all the way back to the 16-yard line.
I think they still look for Dallas Clark down here, even though I circled Gonzalez. I meant Dallas Clark. I think that, the closer they get to the goal line, the more they look for their tight end, and he's either comes out as a tight end or as a slot. Here he's a tight end on this play. They have it's a 3-by-1. He's a tight end here, 2 wide receivers out here, and a 1 back on this side.
And Gonzalez at the bottom. Harrison and Rain to the top. And another whistle.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Now I think we get Dallas Ward out of the equation, and now it becomes in a passing situation either Reggie Wayne or Marvin Harrison. We get Dallas Clark out of the equation.
A very un-Colt-like end to this drive, which was moving down the field with such efficiency. From the 7, they've gone back to the 21. A couple of penalties, 2 timeouts, and it's third down and goal. Clark is in the backfield. Bears rush 4. Manning steps up, slings it to the outside, and that's dropped by Gonzalez. So it looked like the Colts were going to move in for the initial touchdown in this new facility. Instead, Adam Vinatieri has to come out, and they're going to settle for a field goal of about 39 yards.
Well, there's something there maybe that, in fairness, I didn't feel that 15-yard penalty that they called on Brian Urlacher was right. And, and that was a big play, a big thing getting down there. That added 15 yards to them, and maybe the Bears got it back. I mean, the Bears did play very good defense in that red zone.
The gods heard you.
Well, that's the point I was trying to make. 39-yarder
by Vinatieri is good. So those are the first official points scored in new Lucas Oil Stadium. Off the foot of Vinatieri, 3-0 Colts.
I'm Andrea Kramer. Welcome back to the Luke, as we will call Lucas Oil Stadium. Well, the signature feature of this new stadium is the retractable roof, and I got a quick primer on how it works. 90 minutes before kickoff, the Colts must decide if they want the roof open or closed. Well, up in stadium control, the roof's movement is regulated by a computer, and for security reasons, the roof operator keeps his finger in this sensor the entire time the roof is moving. Opening or closing takes about 10 minutes. Now, once the roof is opened, only the game referee can decide to close it. But he must do so if there is bad weather, because there is no drainage on this field.
And Andrea, tonight, as we look at the forecast, there is no prospect of bad weather, so it should stay open. They also have what they call a bay window here in one of the end zones, as this kick will be kicked away from Hester and fielded up at the 30-yard line by Garrett Wolf, who takes it to the 43. So even though it wasn't Hester who runs it back, because of Hester, the Bears are going to get good field position. little time-lapse photography and on the roof, and as Andrea said, 10 or 11 minutes to open it up. And unlike all of the other retractable roof stadiums that I can think of that open up end zone to end zone, this one opens up sideline to sideline. They opened it up about an hour and a half before the game. Very pleasant night in Indianapolis. Cloudless sky. Temperature at game time was 74 degrees. From the 46-yard line, Forte for a gain of 4. Kyle Orton played his college ball not far from here at Purdue. Grew up in Iowa, and then remember in 05 he was a rookie. He was drafted in the 4th round. Rex Grossman got hurt, so they wound up starting Orton as a rookie, and all they said to him was hand the ball off, don't turn it over. He did a pretty good job. They had a good record that year, and there's Grossman, who got healthy at the end of the year, led them into postseason play, and then was able to lead them to the Super Bowl. Meanwhile, Orton has been the number 3 quarterback, not even number 2, the last couple of years behind Brian Greasy, and that pass is deflected and incomplete.
You know, just talking to him last night, though, he seems like a very confident guy. I mean, I think that, you know, he feels that he should have been starting all along, and now he has a job, and he's not going to lose it. I think they still need those Bear things that we talked about. I mean, it's not all about a quarterback. I mean, he has to be surrounded, and he has to have the help around him, and to me, that always starts with a good offensive line and a good running back.
3rd down and 6. Forte with a first down and a lot more, and the rookie from Tulane will go into the end zone on a 50-yard run for a touchdown.
And it ends right there. That's exactly what we were talking about. If you can get in a 3rd down situation and you can hand it off and your offensive line can block like that and your runner can run like that, then it's not always all about the quarterback.
So the Chicago Bears wondering who their quarterback would be, wondering who their running back would be, wondering who their wide receivers would be, their go-to guy. Put Matt Forte into the lineup as the starter on opening night, and he pays his first dividend.
Right, and they liked Matt Forte from day one.
Robbie Gould for the point after with Maynard holding, and the kick is good on a 3rd and 6. 10 minutes into the game, Chicago on top.
You know what happens, you can see here that the Colts are in Tampa 2. Now, when they get in cover 2, the middle linebacker has to get deep because he has a deep middle. So Gary Brackett was about 8 or 9 yards deep, and that gave Forte a pretty good run at it. And there was a heck of a block by the right guard, Roberto Garza. Watch this. I mean, here's Bob Sanders coming across. Now, Bob Sanders, number 21, usually doesn't take poor angles. That time he took a poor angle. I mean, he has to go to an angle where he cuts Forte off rather than an angle where he ends up behind him like that.
LaFefe in his wake, runs by Sanders, so there he is at age 22. He's the first rookie to start on opening day in the backfield for Chicago since a fellow you may have heard of. There he is, Walter Payton, who in his debut against the Colts in 75, 8 rushes, no yards. So he's had a slightly more successful beginning than Payton, but good luck having an ending like Walter's.
Or a middle.
Or a middle, or anything else.
Yeah, there was, you talk about a special player, that was Walter Payton.
Here's Roby, 3 yards into the end zone. The ball comes loose as he comes up past the 22-yard line, and there hasn't been a whistle until now. And now Parry comes in to say he was down, and it's the return team's ball. Parry coming in to signal, even though Chicago is saying it is our ball. Parry signaling that the ball was down and recovered.
As the return man was down by contact, there is no fumble. 1st and 10.
Oh, I don't know that he was down by contact.
Neither do I.
In fact, it looked like he just tripped. Maybe he tripped over his own guy, and he was not down by contact.
So let's see if Lovie Smith is going to throw the challenge flag here, which he can do. Trips over his own guy. The ball's coming out, and I would think that Smith, with Chicago recovering, he wanted to make sure Garrett Wolf recovers the ball for Chicago. So Smith is going to challenge the play. Parry goes over there, and if they rule that it was a fumble, then the play keeps on going in terms of who has possession, and clearly Chicago has possession at the end.
Chicago is challenging the previous play of a fumble versus down by contact.
So they'll take a look at this. John Parry will go under the hood, and the Bears could very well wind up with a football. Parry is still looking at this play. This is an interesting play. We think it's a fumble, but the question now is who has the ball in the scrum, not who comes out of it. This ball is going to disappear in amongst about 10 bodies with blue shirts and white shirts. Garrett Wolfe of Chicago is going to come away with it at the end after a few seconds. The Bears are jumping up and down. Wolfe will come away with it, but it's not who comes out of the scrum, it's who has it in the scrum. And I don't know that you can determine that from this angle. There was Parry who had come in. He'd signaled the play dead, but it was challenged. I think they'll win that part of the challenge, but the question is, can the officials determine who came up with the football in the scrum? Clearly Wolfe comes out with it at the end.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Indianapolis ball, 1st and 10. Chicago is charged with their first timeout.
And that's the reason. Parry, I think, should have given us a little bit more of an elaboration there. But the reason is I don't think they can determine who came out with it. Otherwise, I think Parry should have said he was down by contact,
right.
which I don't think he was.
I don't even know if he looked or cared, because he came in and was just pointing to the ground, blowing the whistle, saying down by contact. He thought that was his call, and I don't think they were worried about who had the ball after that.
I think you're right. 1st and 10, the ball is at the 22-yard line. And now we've got Clark on a screen, and he takes it to the 30, and the replay booth has just confirmed for us that the reason was, as we had suggested, that they couldn't tell who recovered it. So it was a fumble, but the question became who had it in the scrum, and that couldn't be determined, even though Wolfe came out with it after the scrum.
And I think that's going to be one of the notes to all the officials, that when you do call down by contact, continue to watch the play to see who does recover the fumble.
So the Bears lose a timeout, 2nd down and 2, and they're down to one final challenge in this game. And on 2nd and short, the ball is handed off to Joseph Adai, who had a big day in the Super Bowl, as did Dominique Rhodes in Miami, February of '07. Alex Brown makes the tackle here.
You're talking about the Super Bowl. The Bears were saying that they watched that game, in their preparation more than anything else, and they felt that in the Super Bowl, if they could have stopped the run, that they could have beaten the Colts that day. So that's why they're ganging up in the middle. That's why they have their linebackers up in there tight. That's why their whole defense is set to stop this Colt run.
Adai got the first down on the 2-yard gain. Manning now, great protection, very clean pocket, and the pass is high. Intended for Reggie Wayne with 104 catches last year. 3rd in the league. Vasher with the coverage. Nathan was hurt a lot last year, and that's one of the reasons Chicago fell apart from time to time last year defensively, because of all of the injuries. Harris and Vasher and Mike Brown and others. Second and 10.
I like what they're doing tonight. I mean, I like the way they're, attacking a pass protection.
3rd down and 6. Now remember, the defense, the calls can be signaled in, and Urlacher has the helmet. Lloyd Lee is the linebacker coach. Bob Babbage is the defensive coordinator, but it's Lee who calls in the oral signal to Urlacher.
Right, and it's tough to do, because when the Colts don't huddle, then on defense you can't huddle either. So they still have the wristbands.
On 3rd and 6, the pass to the outside is ruled incomplete. What a shot. Charles Tillman hits Reggie Wayne before Wayne can make his first catch of the season, and it's 4th down.
That's a rule of a defensive back. If you can't get there to intercept or knock down the ball, get there shortly thereafter. And that's exactly what Charles Tillman did. He was a corner, and that was a slot, so he was playing zone. So he had that outside zone. He let his receiver go, then he looked in at number 2. and he went after and got number 2.
Hester, who's run back 12 kicks for touchdowns, plus 1 in the Super Bowl. And Smith this time will kick it toward the sideline, and that's going to be a beautiful kick because Hester will be unable to run it back, and the Colts can down it at the 17, and that's a 47-yard boot with no return. The Bears did something that's almost never done. Greasy led the team in passing. Benson was their leading rusher, and Bernard Berry, who signed with Minnesota in the offseason, all gone. 4th team since free agency in '93 to replace the leading passer, rusher, and receiver. You know, that's a two-sided coin. Number one is you go, whoa. Number two is, well, we had a bad year, so those guys needed to be replaced, even though in the case of Berrien, he was a good receiver.
Right, he was a good receiver, and they made a mistake in Cedric Benson when they drafted him the 4th player in the draft, and they had to get out of that, and they did get out of it.
And Greasy was not the future. Brian did a nice job, and he goes to Tampa Bay. They hope Orton's the future, and meanwhile, they know that Forte might be the future as well. That's a 9-yard gain on the heels of that 50-yard touchdown romp.
You know, and just watching Matt Forte on film, and I saw the same thing right here, he has great feet. Watch him here. Watch how his feet are moving all the time. I mean, he can make those jump cuts. I mean, he can plant that left foot and then jump way over to the right and then plant the right foot and go upfield again. Very impressive.
Here's McKee. And like Manning, on the other side, he's a Louisianan with Peyton living in New Orleans, even though he went to Tennessee. Orton looks over toward the bench. Forte grew up in Slidell, Louisiana, right across the causeway from New Orleans, and then went across the lake to go to school at Tulane for 4 years and rushed for 2,100 yards last year with 23 touchdowns as a senior. Was the MVP in the Senior Bowl. Bears loved him, picked him second, and tonight he looks pretty good as he picks up a couple up to the 31-yard line.
Well, you know, he has those quick feet that we talked about, but he's also a downhill runner. I mean, once he makes a break, he's not going to do a lot more of them. He's just going to, you know, square his shoulders and get the ball downhill. And, you know, this guy is going to make some big plays, as we already saw, but he's not going to lose yardage.
2nd and 8. Lovie Smith saying he was going to play him for the first 3 series and then go to the former Lion, Kevin Jones, on the 4th series. We'll see. Orton stumbles back, and then the pass is caught by Hester, so Hester playing on offense as well. Not only a great return man, but this year they're going to move Hester in, rotate him as a wide receiver, and hope to get him in at least at the outset of the season for about 30 plays a game.
Yeah, and you know that he's such a good runner as a return guy. He's the inside guy here, so he's just going to run a little short hook, and one of those things, if we can just get him the ball in the open field, he can make something happen.
3rd and 1 out of the eye with Forte, the tailback. And Forte right through the middle again. And he might have been off to the races again, except Bob Sanders came up near the line of scrimmage to trip him up.
Yeah, but those are just the things we were talking about. Quick feet to get him started, and then squaring his shoulders and running downhill.
End of the first quarter, Chicago 7, Indianapolis 3. And NBC's Sunday Night Football from the capital of Indiana continues after these messages. And we just don't know yet with Tom Brady. There's sources contending that Brady could be out for the season. He's going to have an MRI tomorrow. Nothing official from New England, but we do know that they tonight will bring Chris Sims in tomorrow, Phil's son, late of Tampa, to work out and take a physical. Matt Castle is their quarterback behind Brady. Here's Chicago now to start the 2nd quarter, and this is Rasheed Davis making the catch. So, John, you know, it's a funny thing. You know, you talk about preseason, and you talked about Peyton Manning not playing in preseason at all, looking good tonight. Brady, because of that foot injury, doesn't play in preseason. And now, what's New England thinking about tonight?
They have to be devastated, but I think not only New England, I think the whole NFL is devastated. Tom Brady, one of the best players, one of the premier guys, one of the players, if you say, who would you pay to watch? It's Tom Brady, and no one wants to see him out.
Orton going down the sideline, intended for Brandon Lloyd, incomplete. And it will be 3rd down and 5. So they lose Brady on opening day. Meanwhile, Brett Favre, the other story today with a victory. But Miami, all things considered, made a lot of mistakes and hung in that game until the very end.
Chad Pennington looked good. Miami looks like they're going to be a stronger team this year. And once you put Brett Favre on the Jets, then they become a contender. And then you add Brady out, and that whole thing's topsy-turvy now.
And of all things, the Jets face New England next week. 3rd and 5. On a draw, Forte will get stacked up. Pushed back by 4 Colts, led by Buffet, coming up from the defensive backfield, and it will be 4th down.
Yeah, everyone thinks they can run that draw on the Colts, and you usually can, but not on 3rd down, because they get those, ends up the field, but then they protect against the draw on 3rd down.
Maynard kicking to Keywan Ratliff. Ratliff sets up at his own 10-yard line. A little more than a minute into the second quarter, and the Bears up by 4. High floating short kick, fair caught at the 18-yard line by Ratliff. So 13:42 remaining in the opening half. Chicago leading Indianapolis 7-3. Tony Dungy gave Lovie Smith his first NFL job, linebackers coach in Tampa Bay, and defense is his pedigree, John.
Right, and I'm really impressed with the job that they're doing tonight. I mean, these linebackers are pressing the line of scrimmage. They're blitzing. They're putting pressure on Peyton Manning, trying to get right up in his face. And then they'll do this. They'll come and they'll fake it, run the linebackers out, stunt the line, just do anything to disrupt Peyton Manning from getting into a rhythm.
From the 18, Manning fires over the middle, and that's caught by Wayne. His first catch of the night. Out to the 36-yard line. His first catch of the season is good for a gain of 18. First down.
I said earlier that I thought Peyton Manning would be a little rusty earlier, but just knowing Peyton, I felt that he would work it out and kind of get in a groove later, and I still feel that way, that before this game is over, Peyton Manning is going to get comfortable, and when he does, he's going to get in a groove.
At the 36-yard line. And they give it to Rhodes. Rhodes, one of the Super Bowl heroes, went to Oakland one year and now back here. Let's go to Andrea.
Well, guys, the Colts are playing without tight end Dallas Clark, who is in the locker room with a right knee injury. Now, when he came off the field, he sat on the ground. The doctors checked out his knee. He did jog off under his own power. The Colts are calling his return questionable.
Dallas Clark, obviously one of the best tight ends in the league, and they flex him out so much. He's really a hybrid wide receiver tight end. 2nd down and 6. And Manning will throw, and it's caught on a slant by Harrison, and that's a first down as he takes the ball into Chicago territory.
And it's just going to be a matter of time until Marvin Harrison goes deep. If you're going to play press coverage and if you're going to have a safety over the top, they'll run the slants, they'll run the crosses. If you leave them out there, if you press them and you don't have a safety over the top, they'll go deep to Marvin Harrison.
49-yard line. 1st and 10. Manning throws, and that one is caught by Marvin Harrison again. 4 grabs by him. And let's just, as I assume almost all of you have seen football either Thursday night or today, so the GU stickers on the uniform in the memory of the late Gene Upshaw, who passed away a couple of weeks ago, and the big adornment on the field at the 50-yard line. The players will be wearing those decals throughout the season. The adornment on the field is for this weekend only.
Yeah, you made the point with Dallas Clark out. All they do is go to 3 wide receivers, put Gonzalez in, and run the same formations.
2nd and 3. Manning, that's a wobbly pass, but right on the money with Gonzalez, who shakes a would-be tackler and is forced out of bounds by Mike Brown. Good spin move. Looked like Dwight Freeny on the other side of the ball on that one, as Gonzalez is able to spin around the defender and pick up 20 yards.
Yeah, Nathan Vasher is up there, and he's off a little. They're playing nickel defense. They come on a blitz. Gonzalez is able to go underneath. Then once he catches the ball, instead of continuing this way, he just pivots and goes back to where he came from.
Manning on this drive, 4 of 4, 9 of 17 for 113 yards overall. The pump fake. Now to the end zone. Reaching for it is Wayne, and he can't come down with it. Just off his fingertips as he lays out in the end zone, and it's incomplete. Danielle Manning with the coverage.
Yeah, Reggie Wayne is the inside receiver in the slot. Remember last year when they would do this, they would put Anthony Gonzalez in the slot when they'd go 3 wide receivers. Now they leave Marvin Harrison outside, put Anthony Gonzalez on the other side, and then they work Reggie Wayne in the slot. I think he's a lot better slot receiver than Anthony Gonzalez.
2nd and 10. Manning over the middle, and that's incomplete. It was tipped. John, we know Manning pretty well. I would say he feels a heck of a lot more comfortable now than he did about an hour and 15 minutes ago.
Right, he was not very comfortable when he came here. He didn't come out and do that, pre-game stuff he did, and you could just tell in his eyes that he wasn't sure what was going to happen, when they started, shooting live defenses at him.
Wasn't very comfortable yesterday either.
No, he wasn't. He's lost a lot of weight.
He has.
I don't know that that's concerned him, but he's doing very well. And once, it's kind of like riding a bike, I think, for someone in his 11th year.
3rd and 10 is swinging out here to Dominique Rhodes to the 16-yard line. He's taking medication to keep the infection away from the bursa sac that was removed from his knee, and he said it's suppressed his appetite. And we saw him walk in tonight. He hasn't gone for a change of clothes, and he wore a suit that looked about 3 sizes too big on him.
Yeah, I would guess that he's lost over 15 pounds, and he said it was, the fact that he wasn't working out, the medication, both the pain medication and the medication for the infection.
Mom and Dad watching as they did the other night at the Meadowlands with Eli. This will be a 34-yard attempt now for Vinatieri on 4th down, and Adams' kick is just good. Just inside the right upright. 9:38 to go in the half. Indy trims the Chicago lead to 1. Peyton Manning telling us yesterday it's been a most unpleasant preseason, clearly not by choice. It's been a challenge mixing preparation with rehab. There he was when he walked in tonight. As you can see, that suit not fitting him the way it normally would. Here he was walking out for the first time about an hour before the game, and just in running into him the other night and talking to him yesterday, John, and it's mysterious. I mean, when you've never been hurt, you don't know what to expect.
And that's the look right there. That was the look about an hour before the game, and we've known Peyton Manning for a long time, and that's not the confident-looking Peyton Manning that we're used to seeing. But as you look at him now, he's gotten it. It was just that unknown, and he's a perfectionist, and he wants to know everything, and he wants to know how's the knee going to react when they start, rushing and start blitzing and doing those kinds of things.
Now, will they kick it away from Hester? Well, Hester lets Danielle Manning take it, and he brings it to the 34-yard line. I mean, every kick is like a half and half kick. Remember, they did kick to Hester in the Super Bowl on the opening kickoff, and Hester ran it back for a touchdown. Hester with 12 regular season returns for TDs, plus that one in postseason. So dangerous. So you don't want to kick it down to the goal line. But then again, if you kick it toward the sideline, it's going to be out of bounds. You give the other team the ball at the 40-yard line.
I would think when you have a guy like Devin Hester back there and they start at the 34, that's probably a win for your kickoff team.
It is, because the Bears last year, their average start after a kickoff was the 34, best in the league. And now they give it to Forte, and Forte will take the ball up to the 37-yard line. Fifth player in history with a TD run of 50 or more yards in the first quarter of his debut. Some others would be Michael Westbrook, Marion Butts, Earl Campbell, and you go back to the horse, Alan Amici, who did it in 1955.
You know, one thing the Bears are doing, they're doing a good job of blocking Bob Sanders.
Screen, Forte. You see how tough he is, but then here comes Sanders to whack him.
I was just thinking, you know, we don't hear much about Bob Sanders, and he's kind of the guy back there. When you run, he's going to be the run stopper. But they've been getting a blocker on Bob Sanders all night. And this one here, Bob Sanders finds his way, but he's playing deep. And he runs the screen, and then here he comes right there. And I'll tell you, when he comes, he runs through stuff. You set him up like that, and Bob Sanders unloads on him.
So much so that Forte, and we mentioned that Lovie Smith said he was going to play 3 series. This is his 4th, but Sanders has just knocked them out of the game, at least for a play. So now the Bears will take a timeout with 8:18 to the half and a 1-point Bear lead. The retractable roof opened on this pleasant night. Kevin Jones comes into the game after they look at Forte's shoulder, and the former Lion, who was picked up after he was let go by Detroit, is stopped by Gary Brackett, but his first carry as a Bear nets a first down as we look at the rookie Forte. That's his welcome to the NFL moment, wasn't it, John?
Yeah, by Bob Sanders there. He was kind of set up. Sanders was the second guy in, you know, and he's not ready for that. I mean, although he sees him late, tries to get that shoulder down, and that's where Sanders put the hit on him.
From the 45. Jones, one-time #1 pick for Detroit. Orton gets it away as he gets contacted. Intended for the tight end, Desmond Clark. He had both tight ends in the same neighborhood, Clark and Greg Olsen, and it will be 2nd down and 10.
You know, I think that's the thing they have to do, is just loosen this defense up a little by throwing a couple of deep ones. And you say that, and then watch John St. Clair here trying to block Dwight Freeny. Freeny just pushes him right back into Kyle Orton. You know, so you can say, you know, you got to throw deep, you got to stretch the field, you have to do all that. But if you can't pass protect it, if you can't get Freeny blocked, then you can't do those kinds of things. Kyle Orton, the deepest pass he's completed tonight is 7 yards.
2nd and 10. Here's Jones. Well, you know, John, it became an in vogue expression about 3 or 4 years ago. People started to say, you want a quarterback like an Orton in this situation to manage the game. And it was kind of a compliment for a while. And then it became almost a disparagement as Kelvin Hayden is shaken up.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is a negative thing. If a guy is managing the game, he usually can't play.
Injury timeout. Dallas Clark back on the sideline. He was testing his knee and he was riding the bike. Meanwhile, Hayden was poked in the eye. He comes out of the game. He'll be coming back in shortly. Out momentarily. Keywan Ratliff comes in. And Tim Jennings defensively. And Matt Forte is back in the game at running back. 3-step drop. Quick pass caught. That's Desmond Clark, the tight end, who they flex out like his namesake, Dallas Clark, and a first down off a 3rd and 6. 19-yard gain.
You know what they did is they put the wide receiver inside, put Desmond Clark on the outside, and then he just ran that slant. Kyle Orton throws that one very well.
And Chicago now goes to no huddle. And one A-team begins to emulate the other.
You know, and this crowd has not been a problem for the Bear offense.
Not at all. Forte. Well, the dome was very, very noisy, man. You were locked in. It was small. You had 60,000 people on top of you. Some people thought they were piping in noise. This is a much more cavernous building. And, of course, with the roof open and the picture window open off one end zone, there's a lot of places for the noise to escape.
Right, because the Bears worked on a silent count, thinking that they weren't going to be able to hear. And like I said, that has not been a problem in this first half.
Almost on cue. You've got a problem on the offensive line.
False start, number 67 offense, 5-yard penalty, Second down.
Josh Beekman, the left guard.
Sometimes that goes from the no huddle. You know, everyone, you know, is concentrating on the play. You know, what's the call? What's the formation? What's my assignment? And then they forget the last part of it. What's the snap count?
Second down and 12. Orton put his hands in the air as if to say, give me the call. Clock ticking down, 5:45 left in the half. Orton throwing deep, and it's intercepted and then dropped by Kelvin Hayden, who just was poked in the eye, missed a couple of plays, came back in. Meanwhile, Freeny came in and hit Orton as he got rid of the ball.
You know, watch Dwight Freeny. If you want to learn how to spin on a tackle, you start up to the outside, spin, get that right arm up, and come right into the quarterback. Dwight Freeny, I said earlier, one of the best pass rushers, definitely the best spinning pass rusher.
Third and 12, and now for the first time the crowd rises as one. Decibel level about as high as it's been tonight. Devin Hester is wide to the left. Orton flushed out, looking downfield, has room to run. And Orton bangs into Hayden and is able to pick up a couple of more yards, but is just short of the first down. However, he positions Robbie Gould for a very makeable field goal.
You know, it happens after a defensive end gets a big pass rush and you get third down. Now you put another guy over there to help. And you can see Greg Olson, the tight end, he comes in there to chip and just double teams Freeny. I don't know that you want to do that. At least he turned his left shoulder. I mean, I don't know that quarterbacks in the open field want to take on tacklers with their shoulders, but at least he didn't do it with his right shoulder.
That was a 10-yard gain on 3rd and 12, thus a 41-yard attempt for Robbie Gould, one of the best in the league, and Gould's kick is good. So he matches Vinatieri's earlier field goal to make it a 4-point game again. Chicago on top by a score of 10-6. Wild-looking facility. You drive in from the airport, and it just looms. Indianapolis with a burgeoning skyline. We've been coming here for years, John, and there it is at the front of the skyline, and it makes the RCA Dome, which is next to it, look like a pimple.
Right, I know it, and if you look at it, I think if you came from outer space and you would look at this and you'd say, what is it? You wouldn't guess it was a football stadium. I mean, from the outside, it looks like it would be an arena of some sort.
Right. Well, it's the new architecture where you make it, with a lot of brick, and it has a little bit of like Camden Yards in Baltimore, as a lot of the new stadiums do. The brick facade.
Tony Dungy says he has a big new office here and he doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, he only uses it 8 times a year, 10 counting preseason, as Roby brings it back to the 21-yard line, and there's a flag down.
Archie Manning's here. We saw a shot of Archie and Olivia, Peyton's mother and father, and I know what Archie's thinking right now.
During the return, illegal block number 51, 10-yard penalty, 1st and 10.
What he's thinking is you leave these guys in there, you should beat them. You move the ball, but you didn't get that touchdown. You should have had the touchdown. And then when you don't get it, you let these guys hang in there, and they're going to, I'm talking about the Chicago Bears, and they're going to get more and more confident, and they're going to be tougher and tougher to beat for you.
That penalty was on Jordan Center. Well, the Mannings were in New York the other night. The Giants scored a touchdown on their first drive and then didn't score another touchdown. And Peyton hasn't gotten the Colts into the end zone. So for the Manning parents, it's over 5 quarters of not seeing their guys get the ball into the end zone. Peyton will go down under pressure by Marcus Harrison, a rookie out of Arkansas, who backs up Agunleye at end, and Harrison gets his first career sack.
Well, they've been doing a good job at this, of getting pressure right up the middle. Now earlier, Peyton Manning was able to get to the outside and get away from it. But that time he tried to come to this side, and he couldn't get out here. Marcus Harrison beating Ryan Dean.
Badly. 2nd down 20 from the 2-yard line. Harrison comes in behind right tackle, and a dive. Can he get out of the end zone is the question. No. Safety. And that's a good layup. Well, the Bear defense, which had become suspect last year because of a lot of injuries, didn't play particularly well in preseason. As I said, Bear fans are nervous. They're a little less nervous at the moment.
Right, and they were really confident last night. Now, remember, coming out, the whole ball has to get out. You know, going in, the ball just has to cross or break the plane. Coming out, it has to break through the plane, and the entire ball has to be out of the end zone line.
And it did not. It's a reviewable situation if they want to challenge it, but as you can see, he goes down, and clearly there's a part of the ball that doesn't come out of the end zone.
So that was penetration by both defensive ends on the first play. It was Harrison that made that big play that backed him up, and then again the penetration when they got him down there. You just play a goal line defense like you're playing goal line if they had the ball going in.
Some folks in the crowd want Dungy to throw the flag because they've watched the replay, and Tony's going to throw it. And I think he's going to throw it because he is going to hope and contend that John Parry will look at it, and when the forward progress of a dive was stopped, the whole ball was out because it looked like the whole ball came out for like a hundredth of a second.
Indianapolis is challenging the previous play of a safety.
But I don't know how you rule it that way.
I don't think so. I don't think that the whole ball got out over the line.
I think for one very fleeting instant, here he comes, he's going to get stopped. Now, where is forward progress? The ball is behind the line. The ball is still, well, right there, it almost comes out, but there's no way you overturn that. That's as far as it gets out, but it appears that some of the ball is still over the line, then he's pushed back, and the referee's looking, or the officials are looking right down the line, and I don't think there's anything that Parry can see on the replay that will negate the safety. Tony 20 out of 52 in challenges. So again, it almost comes all the way out. It looked from the other angle.
Right, and that's the official looking at it from the other side. The guy right down the line. Oh, he was blocked out there, though, the guy that calls it.
Yeah, but the ball clearly never comes out.
Remember, it's not where his feet are, where his knee is, it's where the ball is. And coming out, again, the whole ball has to get out of the end zone.
And the crowd looking at the replays, the same ones you are.
Yeah, but maybe they don't know that the whole ball. You know,
right.
You could say that
exactly right.
Yeah, it broke the plane.
Yeah.
Well, going in, it's breaking the plane. Coming out, it's the whole ball.
But going in, the nose of the ball can be right at the tip of the goal line, and that would be a touchdown. This is a different situation. So the safety, unless I'm crazy, will stand. It will be 12-6, and then Indianapolis, with 3:59 to go in the half, will be kicking a free kick from the 20-yard line, and that's interesting too, because that's going to put Chicago in a position where, if you want to kick a high short kick, you're kicking from your own 20, not from the 30. You've got Devin Hester back there, so you're really in Dutch.
Play stands as called. Indianapolis is charged with their third and final timeout.
And again, anybody booing doesn't know the rules. Simple as that.
No, but you bring up a good point here now. This is going to be a tough situation because what you have on a free kick is you have your kickoff coverage team along with your punter. You can either, with a free kick, you can either kick it like a kickoff or you can punt it. Everyone elects to punt it. Now, what do? I mean, you want to get it, high and short. I'm not sure of that. That's what Tony was talking about yesterday. I don't know that you want to angle it towards the sideline. I think this is one that you're going to have to kick the ball to Devin Hester.
Hester is setting up at the 23-yard line. That, by the way, cost the Colts a timeout. Manning used 2 earlier, so the Colts are out of timeouts. Chicago has 1 left, and this kick is an angled kick that will bounce at the 29. Hester fields it at the 21. Gets in behind some blocking, and Hester to the outside, and the coverage is good this time as he gets it back only to the 38-yard line. So here's the rookie out of Tulane, second-round pick, Matt Forte, and the first half, John, that he has had.
Well, I like him. I like the way he runs. We talked about his feet, about running downhill, but he also has great vision. I mean, he can see the hole, he can see the pursuit, he can see the defenders coming, and when you run through the first line, you're looking at the second and third line, and he is excellent at that.
10 carries for 86 yards. The big one, the 50-yard touchdown. Forte, and he's stopped in the backfield, and there's a flag. That's number 99, Ed Johnson, the tackle, stopping him in his tracks.
Holding, number 57 offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Olin Kreutz, let's go to Andrea.
Well, I can tell you, Matt Forte is not bereft of confidence. I was talking to him last night. I said, how's your transition been to the NFL? And he said, very smooth. I'm not fazed by the speed of the game at all. Now, he pointed to the quick feet he has, especially for a big back. But he also told me if he's one-on-one in the open field, he'll take anybody on, even if it's Bob Sanders, as we saw him do.
Outran him after faking out the Thay on that 50-yarder. First and 20. Here he is. Puts his head down, tries to move the pile, and gets it out to the 31-yard line. When the season began, or at least training camp began, it looked as if they might go with Adrian Peterson, not the Minnesota Adrian Peterson, as their number one back, and they picked up Kevin Jones, did Lovie Smith. And of course Forte had to prove himself, and there's a look at Peterson, and then you had Garrett Wolfe, so it was uncertain when they opened up camp as to who the guy would be, but quickly Forte impressed and wins the nod.
Yeah, and I think Forte obviously is number one, and I think as a base running back, Kevin Jones is number two.
Second and 17, and that is caught for a first down by Brandon Lloyd. Another of the pickups. Finished last year on IR with Washington. Last touchdown he scored with San Francisco in 05.
You're going to see Brandon Lloyd here. He's working on number 23, Tim Jennings. Jennings has him, to the outside. Brandon Lloyd does a good job of just running him up the field and then bringing him back on a hook. Good pass protection. Kyle Orton was just able to read it, step up, and throw it.
His specialty, leaping ability. Forte into Indy territory to the 48-yard line. So the 2-minute warning is coming. Indianapolis cannot stop the clock, so Chicago can move it down for what they hope would be at least a field goal attempt and take about all the time in the half off the clock as well. 2-minute warning coming up from Indianapolis, where the Chicago Bears are on top of the Colts 12-6 on opening night at Lucas Oil Stadium. Coming up on the Toyota halftime show. Second down and 6 now. First ball after the 2-minute warning is a pass to the outside, and that's caught by Marty Booker, the once and present Bear, who went to the Pro Bowl as a Chicagoan in 2002, then went down to Miami, and now they bring him back in 08.
You have to like what the Bears are doing now. Once they've established that they can run the ball, now the pass protection is a lot easier, and that last pass there was a play-action pass, and that's very effective.
Peyton is on the bike, telling us yesterday he would do that. It's the first time we've seen him tonight get on that bike as Forte takes the ball to the 36-yard line. Now Chicago has one timeout. Clock ticking down, and upcoming will be a second down and 5, and they'll go without a huddle here.
Isn't it something how Matt Forte again can just find those little holes and slither through them, and it's all with those quick feet.
He has 97 yards, and we have movement up front, and that's almost picked. As coming in was Tim Jennings from the corner. And Parry, who's had a busy first half, will announce the call.
Encroachment, number 93 defense, 5-yard penalty. Result of the penalty, first down.
Dwight Freeny coming across the line. So now the ball goes to the 31-yard line, and they're already within Robbie Gould's field goal range with 62 ticks and one timeout remaining.
And watching Kyle Orton in practice and watching him in film in the preseason, the closer he gets to the goal line, the better quarterback he is, the better passing quarterback.
And this time he won't get a chance to get it away because he's going to get sacked. Dawson is the first guy in there, and then Freeny is second.
Kiyunta Dawson is over the right guard, and you're going to see him right here. He's just going to come straight up the middle, and then from the other side comes Freeny.
Freeny finished them off at 2nd down and 18, and now they're going to give it to Forte, and Forte is going to take it to the 36. So they were within field goal range. Now they're right on the edge, and they're going to take their final timeout here. Meanwhile, Forte, with that 3-yard run, now has 100 yards on 14 carries in the first half, 50 on 1 carry. And what you have now is a 3rd and 15 without a timeout. If they don't gain a yard, you'd be looking at about a 53-yard field goal for Robbie Gould.
And the Bears have a pretty good plan here. If the Colts are in cover 2, or if they're playing both of those safeties deep and Bob Sanders out of there, they run the ball, and they run it inside, and they run it well. Now, if Sanders comes up and they have a cover 1 or cover 3, then they're just throwing the ball to the outside receiver. And I think they would have to maybe do the same thing in this situation to get into a field goal situation.
That's Hester, slot left.
For the outside receiver.
And the pass down the right sideline is caught on the run for a first down by Olsen. And now they'll have to get up there and spike the ball. They don't have a timeout. So Orton leading them up. He's going to have to spike it. He'll have time to do that, but probably not to get into the end zone, as they'll just have to settle for a field goal attempt. And there he spikes it with 4 seconds left. So Olsen got free on a 3rd and 15, and now a chip shot field goal attempt to try to make it a 9-point game.
So you're going to see Greg Olsen. He's the outside guy. He's right here. Now they brought the safety up, so they knew that they were going to have man coverage. But look at the man coverage they had. They had a linebacker on Olsen because he's a tight end. Kyle Orton, when he saw the safety come up, knew that that was going to be man out there, and he hits Olsen with a perfect pass.
Freddie Kiaho with the tackle. 25-yard field goal attempt for Robbie Gould. And that is good. 2 field goals plus a safety plus the Forte touchdown. And that takes us to the half. And the Chicago Bears, big underdogs at the half, leading 15-6. The Toyota halftime show, Bob Costas at the helm, coming up on the other side of the break.
There's nothing like opening night. I mean, that's kind of like you've been studying for that test all year. You finally get a chance to take it.
What excites me the most about the game tonight is the chance to redeem ourselves after the season we had last year, going against the team we played in the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
You think you know exactly what type of football team you have, but you never know until you play that first game.
It's really getting the sense of what your team is going to be all about. You really never know until it's for real and it means everything, and tonight it does.
Sunday night game, season opener. I mean, if you can't get excited about that, you don't need to be playing the game.
No, you never know, because who would have thought that the Chicago Bears would be leading 15-6 at the half on opening night at Lucas Oil Stadium, with the Colts heavily favored, but the Bears came in last night talking to Lovie Smith and the players and all of that, and there was a quiet air of confidence. And you didn't know if they were whistling in the dark after the preseason or not, but so far so good for Chicago, and that kickoff is fielded 7 yards into the end zone. And now, after staying back in the end zone, it's Hester who comes out, and that is Melvin Bullitt, number 33, who stays in there and shoots him.
Big play by Melvin Bullitt there, staying with it. You know, the coverage teams tend to let up when a return guy, just stays in the end zone. They think the play's over. He didn't take a knee. You see, Hester doesn't do anything. He's just trying to lull him to sleep. Melvin Bullitt doesn't go to sleep.
In his rookie year, about midway through the season in New York, on a missed field goal, he ran one back 108 yards on a similar play where he tried to play possum in the end zone, never downed it. The whistle never sounded, and he thought he could get away with it again. So now they start from deep in their own territory, and Forte will take it out to the 5-yard line.
You could just see that look on Lovie Smith, and knowing that they had the momentum, they had everything going their way, or they still have that, and then boom, they give the Colts a field position turn like this.
2nd and 8 from the 5. Orton off the fake. Moving to his left and throwing into traffic, and that one was incomplete. Raheem Brock put the pressure on. He tried to get it out to the fullback, McKeon. It sets up a 3rd and long.
Yeah, this is one of those things where, you know, you talk about Kyle Orton and being a manager and being consistent and not making the dumb play, and you can't make it here. I mean, this is where maybe you have to be a little conservative, but you can't force anything. You can't let the Colts have a takeover in this situation. And if you're the Colts, you want to go after and get a takeover.
Brought the crowd right back into it. Hester is wide to the left. They give it to Forte, and Forte can only get out to the 10-yard line. So it's 3 and out from deep in their own territory, and the Colts should wind up with the ball at around midfield. Once again, until you down it, the whistle will not blow here. Just playing possum right there. Then he decides, okay. But the Colts were alert. And for the Colts, that's a really good play, because the Colts over the past couple of years have had tremendous coverage problems with their special teams.
Right, I was impressed with how quickly Melvin Bullock came in there. I mean, he was going after Devin Hester full speed.
Number 38 offensive 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
And that will send Maynard back to almost the back line of the end zone. It's Daniel Manning moving.
In fact, at 15 yards, usually the punter is 15 yards back from the snapper, and that's exactly 15 at the back line. So he's going to have to catch that ball at about 14 yards from the snapper.
Gets away a very good kick, and a deep kick fielded at the 40-yard line by Kewan Ratliff. And Ratliff brings it back out to the 47-yard line. So Maynard needed a good one, and he got one. 56-yard boot, 8-yard return. Colts have the ball near midfield, early 3rd. Just 2 sizes larger. Here's Manning now. Starting from the 48-yard line, 1st and 10. Looking left and looking right and throwing it out of bounds, and we check in with Andrea Kramer. Andrea.
Well, despite that throw, Tony Dungy insists that Peyton Manning is not rusty, but he will not likely have the services of Dallas Clark for the rest of this half. Dungy said it's questionable that he will be back with that knee injury. The one thing that the Bears have got to, are continuing to do, and that the Colts have to guard against, is that pressure up the middle and the blitzing. Much success with it for the Bears. The Colts have to stop it.
And with Clark out, that means we'll see a lot of Gian Robinson, number 47, who sets up tight on the right side. First-year player out of Missouri Western State. Manning up on his toes. Manning throws, hits Wayne. Wayne will go down, but not until he picks up a first down, trying to spin away from the defensive back Mike Brown, who gets enough of him to tackle him.
You know, that's one of the things that Peyton Manning was worried about, you know, is as you said, Al, he's up on his toes. I mean, this is the way he reads, this is the way he throws, and that was the old Peyton Manning footwork there. Reggie Wayne again in the slot on that side, running and out. When they put Anthony Gonzalez, they have 3 wide receivers. Gonzalez is one of the outside guys. Reggie Wayne is like here in the slot.
Wayne in the slot, Harrison outside, Gonzalez wide to the left. Manning deep down the right sideline, and a flag is thrown, and Tillman is arguing his case with the official one-on-one with Marvin Harrison.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, number 33, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
That's different than pass interference, because they're going to get the ball only 5 yards downfield.
Well, what they're saying is that Charles Tillman did the foul before the ball was in the air. Now, if the ball is in the air when he fouls him, which he didn't there, then it would be pass interference. If it was before, after 5 yards, before the ball's in the air, it's a 5-yard penalty.
And an automatic first down. The ball is at the 32-yard line.
But this is the area where where you go to a Marvin Harrison. If he's angry and gets fast, this is a time to use it.
He's wide to the right. Manning looks to the slot man, Wayne. And that will be a first down for the Colts as Wayne is tackled at the 19-yard line.
See, by having Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison on the same side, when you run a slant, you can run a double slant. Marvin Harrison runs a slant from the outside. Reggie Wayne, you'll see him in the slot. He runs the slant from the inside. So you see it's a read for Peyton Manning when he has a double slant. He sees Reggie Wayne has a step, so he gives him the ball.
From the 19-yard line, the pass is good for a 4-yard gain. He goes to Marvin Harrison. Harrison has now caught 5 balls for 49 yards.
You know, and that's the same play they ran the play before. It was a double slant. The play before, he threw it to Reggie Wayne, who was in the slot. That time they threw it to Marvin Harrison, who was the outside receiver. The wide receivers never come into the huddle. They just kind of stand out at their position, and the play is relayed to them.
2nd and 6. All passes on this drive to this point. It's the 5th play of the drive. Now the first rush, and it's a guy breaking tackles, picking up the first down and making it a 1st and goal for the Colts. Finally stopped by Tillman, and a skirmish at the 12-yard line.
You know what he audible to there? He audible to the run, and here's his read. Anytime he sees too deep here, he knows he has this and this, and he's going to run the ball. If he sees one of these guys up, he's going to throw it to an outside receiver. So he saw a double safety deep, and that was an audible to a run.
It was a little skirmish, and it was enough of a skirmish that Gian Robinson, who takes Clark's place at tight end, has to come out. And now they go to Jacob Tamme, who's a rookie out of Kentucky, number 84, who lines up on the right side.
Tamme's not a real good blocker, but a good receiver.
Right, here's Wayne. And Gonzalez trying to lay down a block for him, but can't, as Mike Brown comes in to finish off the play and sets up a 2nd and goal. Devin Hester on the sidelines, knowing that he pinned him deep with the mistake, trying to come out of the end zone, giving Indy the ball at midfield, starting from their own 48, and then the Colts trying to cash in.
Right, and took a little momentum away from the Bears and gave it to the Colts.
And got the crowd very much into the game. 2nd and goal. Fake to a guy to the end zone, and open is Wayne for the touchdown.
He found something he liked on this drive, and that was Reggie Wayne on the slot right. That time he's gonna get it right between Brian Urlacher and Briggs. You see Urlacher 54, Briggs right there. He just gets it over their heads and right in behind them. See the play action fake that holds the linebackers enough that Reggie Wayne can get in behind them.
Vinatieri out of the Hunter Smith hold. And we have a 2-point game, and let it be duly noted, the first Colt touchdown in the history of Lucas Oil Stadium. Manning to Wayne. 15-13 Chicago.
I think he's a great leader. He's a great teacher. Just a guy that you would love to play for and work with.
He has a way of getting guys to play well, but I think his players are always going to know what to do, and they're always going to play extremely hard.
We mentioned before that Tony Dungy gave Lovie Smith his first pro job. He came down, put him on the staff at Tampa Bay when Tony was there in the late 90s. And Rod Marinelli was also given a job by Tony, and Lovie and Rod Marinelli shared a room at a Fleabag hotel to save money, and they barely had enough room in the room, and Lovie said he used to do all his work in the lobby.
Right, and that's an old defensive line coach and an old linebacker coach.
Here's Hester now trying to atone from a yard into the end zone. Hester swinging to the outside. Hester with a stiff arm, and then he gets run out of bounds and knocks over somebody on the sideline as Kewan Ratliff makes the tackle. And there they were, Tony Dungy, 96 through 01, and Lovey then went to St. Louis because he became the defensive coordinator and eventually assistant head coach, which led to his job here. The two of them meeting up in Super Bowl 41 in Miami, which the Colts won by a score of 29-17.
Two of them very, very solid coaches, very solid gentlemen. You know, they're fundamentally sound. They know what they want, and they most of the time get what they want in their play.
Now here's Kevin Jones taking it for a gain of about 6. Jones, heralded college star at Virginia Tech, and the Lions picked him number 1, and then he was injured a lot in Detroit, and he was in and out of the lineup a lot, and finally they decided to go in a different direction, and he winds up with Chicago.
Yeah, again, I like the plan that the Bears have is getting a blocker on Bob Sanders if he comes up as an 8th man.
Jones. And he's going to get tackled by the outside linebacker.
And you know what they're doing? That time they brought up Antoine Bethea, and every time they do it, they're getting a tackle on him. And so if they come up to the right side, watch John Tate. He'll pull out there and he'll get on him. Every time they bring that guy up, they've been getting the tackle on him if they have to block him.
Brackett, the middle linebacker, making the tackle. 3rd and 2. Forte comes back into the game. The ball is at the 34. Half the crowd on its feet. Orton is swinging to the outside, and that's caught by Olsen, who made the big grab down the sideline to set up the field goal. Greg Olsen, their number 1 pick out of the University of Miami, now in his 2nd year. They were wild about him last year, loved him, and they think he can be a major star in the future.
Yeah, and he knows, you see him starting here in the backfield, and they know that they have man coverage when he sees the blitz coming. He knows that he's going to have man coverage on his outside receiver, but also on his tight end, Greg Olsen, coming out of the backfield.
Caught 39 with 2 touchdowns in his rookie year. The ball is at the 41 now, 1st down. More than halfway through the 3rd quarter. Orton to Forte, wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. Orton saying last night, you know, we want to get back to a power running game. We want to complete a high percentage of passes. We want to take a shot downfield occasionally, which he's done tonight, and possess the ball. Don't turn it over.
You know, the other thing he was talking about was his receiver. He said, do you have a go-to guy? And he says, yeah, it would be Rasheed Davis. But Rasheed Davis has not been that guy tonight.
2nd and 10. Pass is caught by Forte, and that's a great tackle to at least momentarily save a 1st down by Clint Session, who comes up to grab him around the ankle, stop him just shy of the 50-yard line, and set up a 3rd down and 1 for the Bears.
And I like the way Kyle Orton's playing here. I mean, he's taking what the defense gives him. He's not getting antsy, and he's playing very calm on the road, and that's big in a quarterback.
On 3rd and 1. And they give it to the rookie, and he just does get enough as he stopped beyond the yellow line. Freddie Keaho makes the tackle. Forte has now gained 110 yards tonight, and he's the first player in the history of that venerable franchise with 100 or more rushing yards in his NFL debut. Right now 109 officially on 18 carries.
You know, and there's nothing about Matt Forte that looks like a rookie, and I noticed that in training camp. I was up there at Bear training camp this year, and he just stepped right in as a starter, and he looked like he'd been there for years.
Now Kevin Jones is in the game. Jones lays down a nice block to buy time for Orton, but then the pass is thrown low at the feet of Desmond Clark. Daughter of Papa Bear, Virginia McCaskey is here looking on. Very short trip down here from Chicago, and she's seen a little bit of history in her time.
Yes, she has. Great history. You think of the NFL and the Chicago Bears and George Halas, and all goes together, doesn't it?
Second down 10. The ball is at the 48. In the pocket, the pass comes out to Brandon Lloyd, who makes the catch. No Bear has caught more than 2 passes tonight. Orton has gone to 7 different receivers, and the numbers are okay. 10 out of 18 for 114 yards. But as you say, John, looking mature, playing effectively, has his team in the lead and on the move right here.
Right, and again, anytime they see a single safety, he knows he has man coverage outside, so he's just working to the outside, and when he sees a double safety, he's going to the running game.
Third and a deuce from the 40. Forte, and he appears to be a little short. Let's wait and see as the head line judge comes in, and this is going to be very close, probably compelling a measurement.
And again, that was the thing that he saw. They had the 2 safeties there, so then Bob Sanders isn't going to be up there, and he's not going to be stuffing your run, and you're going to be running against a 7-man front.
So the ball is at the 38-yard line. If they don't pick it up, I don't think you can gamble here, even on 4th and inches. I wouldn't, but who knows?
No, I wouldn't either. They already. Oh boy.
I think that's a first down.
I think it's a first down.
Yeah, it is. The nose of the ball right there. Small piece put up by Raheem Brock, but a rule's a rule. That's it.
Raheem Brock couldn't believe it. And pretty good running, just getting that ball past that line to get the first down. And the other group that's doing a lot better job than I expected they would in this game is the offensive line of the Bears. That interior, and they're playing with John St. Clair here at left tackle, and he's had his problems with Freeny, but I think all in all they're doing a very good job of run blocking and a pretty good job of pass protection.
Orton on first down is going to give the ball to Jones. Decent sized hole. Jones gets to the 34-yard line. He's stopped by Key Dawson.
Again, watch the right side here. I mean, they get a good double team, and then John Tate comes off and gets to the next level. You're always going to get a big run when you can start on a double, and one of the offensive linemen is able to come off that double and get up to the next layer, being the linebacker.
2nd and 5. Jones to the short side of the field. Keaho is the first guy there, and that's going to set up a 3rd down and 6 for the Bears.
We were talking about that play. Watch John St. Clair here. He's going to come out and try and get Bob Sanders. Sanders does a nice job of playing it. You want to keep it contained so that there's no place that Kevin Jones can cut that ball up. And he made Kevin Jones just run it out of bounds.
Forte back in the game. Sanders getting the crowd back into it for Indianapolis. 3rd down and 6. Key play. And the ball knocked away from Orton, who recovers it after Robert Mathis came around the end and knocked it away. So that takes them out of any potential field goal, makes it 4th down, and brings in Maynard in the punting unit.
Yeah, we were talking about Dwight Freeny and the things that he did, but watch Robert Mathis, number 98. He goes right around John Tate and reaches his outside arm, his left arm out, and knocks that ball out of Kyle Orton's hand. Watch him dip that right shoulder and put that left hand around and knock the ball out. That is a play.
Maynard to kick. He'll angle it to the far side. Not far enough, though, as Ratliff is able to fair catch it at the 16-yard line. That's where Manning and the offense come back on the field. Down by 2. 2:06 to play in the quarter. From the 16-yard line now. Adai and Rhodes are both in the backfield. flanking Manning in the shotgun. 4-man Chicago rush. And then Manning tries to get it off, and it's incomplete. Alex Brown came around the corner to force it. Let's go to Andrea.
Well, guys, I've been closely watching Peyton Manning's sideline routine as he juggles preparation and rehab. Here it's business as usual, watching the pictures on the phone with his coaches. Then he has to keep that knee loose. The biggest challenge he has is the stiffness on the bike. And finally, he does his throwing to warm the arm up before heading back to the field.
Manning tonight leading that 1 touchdown march to make a 9-point game a 2-point game. And that's what it is right now. Manning. And that's caught on the slant, and then the ball is fumbled by Harrison. And it's picked up by Briggs, and he's inside the 10-yard line, and he's going to go in for the touchdown. Charles Tillman created the fumble. And Marvin Harrison, who fumbled, and it was a big fumble in the playoff game with San Diego. The last time he played a game here in Indianapolis, coughs one up here.
Well, the Bears come on a blitz, so Charles Tillman is going to be man-to-man on that slant. He gets the slant, he catches the ball. Now he comes in behind him and throws that right arm in there and hand and chops the ball out. Lance Briggs is right there to pick it up. You know, that was the thing that they've been doing on that last drive, is going slot right and then throwing either the slant to Marvin or to Reggie Wayne. That time they played it well, and he still caught the ball, and he came in and chopped it out.
And Tony's thinking about, well, he's looking at the replay, he's trying to see as much of it as he can, and now he's going to contend that it wasn't a complete pass, is my assumption here. John Parry will tell us. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Go back again here. Does Harrison have control? Both feet down, 1, 2.
Completion and a fumble versus an incomplete pass.
I think it stands.
Yeah, I think he's just stretching there.
Yeah.
They're trying to find anything to get back an advantage.
On a wing and a prayer, he throws a flag, mainly a prayer. John Parry still looking. The rule is very simple, 2 feet down, and what they now say is a discernible length of time to possess the ball. Remember, they used to say things like make a football move, whatever that was. That's gone. I mean, they made it pretty clear. It has nothing to do with making whatever a football move was supposed to have been. 2 feet down, discernible length of time. He has 2 feet down. He possesses the ball. I don't see how they overturn it.
No, that's a catch and a fumble.
The ruling on the field stands. 2 feet down with possession, then a fumble. Chicago touchdown. Indianapolis is charged with their first timeout.
Both challenges lost by Tony Dungy tonight.
You know, the Bears have really been physical against this Colt team, and you know, usually when you blitz like the Bears blitzed on that last play and the Colts just threw a slant, usually, you know, a year or two ago, Peyton Manning would make you pay for that blitz. And now, in this game, he's going to that shorter pass, that slant, those kinds of things. And when he does catch them in a blitz, then all they get out of it is a slant.
Dungy now out of challenges. And the only time they can look at something will be in the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. We'll have to emanate from upstairs.
I think the Colts have to get upset. I think they have to say, doggone it, we're in one here. We got to go play like a Colt football team.
And Gold makes it a 2-possession game now. It's a 9-point lead. 152. The Bear defense coming up big tonight. The Colts right now down by 9 points. They have won 21 consecutive games in the months of September and October. Haven't lost since 04, but that's in jeopardy tonight. Courtney Roby to run back the kick. And Roby with a good return, but a flag is down, and Robbie Gould is going to bump him out of bounds in front of the Chicago bench, but there are 2 penalty markers back inside the 20.
Return, illegal block in the back, number 84, return team. Half the distance to the goal, 1st and 10, Indianapolis.
Jacob Tammy, the rookie, and 2 officials caught him. Since Lovie Smith took over in 04, you can see 11 interception returns for a touchdown, and of course Hester, for the most part, responsible for the punts and the kickoffs, 4 fumbles returned, a missed field goal twice, a block punt. That defense tonight, not only with that interception return, as Harrison fumbles it away here after the hit by Tillman, and Briggs runs it in. But remember, the defense also created the safety.
Right, and you know, when you talk to Lovie Smith, he says that, you know, that the defense has to not only get takeaways, but has to score.
From the 10 now. Manning stepping to his left, firing, caught up at the 25. John, you make a great point with Manning not doing the things he would normally do. You know, physically, he looks very good. If you didn't know he missed preseason, had the knee problem, you'd walk in here and say, hey, he looks just fine.
Yeah, but he's letting the Bears off the hook. He's letting them blitz too much. And, you know, it used to always be that if you laid off, you'd hit stuff in front of you. If you blitzed him or pressured him, you know, he'd make you pay for it. And they haven't been going for anything big when the Bears have been blitzing him.
1st and 10 at the 25. Here's a die swinging to the outside, and a die comes close to getting a first. He's tackled by number 44, Kevin Payne, about a yard short of the first down as we tick down under a minute now remaining in the 3rd quarter.
And that's one thing that they have to remember. You know, we talk about the blitz and, you know, and having to take some shots deep here somewhere. And the other thing, you have to stay with the run. I mean, that still has to be a part of it.
32 seconds and ticking down remaining in the quarter out of the shotgun. On 2nd and 1. And Manning's going to go for Harrison off his fingertips on the 2nd and 1. Pretty much a free play. Charles Tillman is there with the coverage. Incomplete, 3rd and 1.
You know, and you just knew that they had to do that. I mean, he'd kind of been letting this Bear defense off the hook, and he kind of has to stretch him out now, and that's the way to do it. Get Marvin Harrison out there, get him deep, and then, you know, of course, you have to make the play. That's poor by Marvin Harrison there. You know where it's poor? Not getting both hands up. Just getting one hand, not bringing the other.
Here's what's also poor, very un-Colt-like. Manning has to take a timeout on a 3rd and 1, put his palms up in exasperation. And remember, they've already lost a challenge. So now, in a game in which they are trailing by 9 points, they are down to 1 timeout and no challenges.
And as you say, very unlike Peyton Manning, very unlike Tom Moore, very unlike Tony Dungy. But I'll tell you, the Bears have given them a heck of a fight tonight. You know, maybe more than they expected. I think that the Bears have shocked them a little.
More than we expected, too.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're playing a lot better. I mean, you watched them. You know, as you said, last year they really didn't play well. They didn't play well at all in preseason.
No.
And then, you know, they come here and they look like the old Chicago Bears the way they're supposed to look.
3rd and 1 at the 33-yard line. One thing about the Bears this year as opposed to last, they're all healthy except for their rookie number 1 draft choice of tackle, Chris Williams. And then they give it to a die on a 3rd and 1, and the quarter will end with a first down at the 40-yard line. So at the end of 3, it's Chicago 22, Indianapolis 13. NBC Sunday Night Football from Indianapolis will continue after these messages from your local NBC station. Gillette Body Wash providing the aerial coverage as we come back to Indianapolis. Al Michaels, John Madden, and Andrea Kramer on this Sunday night. Start the 4th quarter. Chicago up by 9. First down for the Colts from their own 41-yard line.
Look at how that Bear defense is pressing the line of scrimmage.
All night long. Manning down the left side, and it is Wayne who is out of bounds as he makes the catch. He couldn't get both feet in. Nathan Vasher with the coverage on the play, but just off the mark.
And I think the Colts are thinking the same thing we were thinking, that if they want to be that tight up in the line of scrimmage, And if they want to blitz this much, you have to make them pay for it. And the way you make them pay for it is a deep pass, a big one. They threw it to Reggie Wayne, and it just wasn't complete. He tried one earlier to Marvin Harrison. Reggie Wayne was a little close to the sideline on that one.
From the 41, second down and 10.
And then if you don't make them pay for that blitzing, then they just continue to do it.
And that's Wayne. And just before the snap, you saw Wayne, and he almost made that binocular motion to Peyton Manning, which they use with such effectiveness, as if come to me, and they do. And it's a gain out to the 47-yard line.
And again, that puts him in a third and manageable. And with this Colt offense, this is a pretty easy play. Now watch Reggie Wayne right here, Al. Here's what you're talking about. He gives him that binocular look, knowing that guy's going to come, and the safety is way off of him. So he knows that he can run and complete that.
3rd and 4, trips to the right. Manning looking over the middle, now comes back the other way. And that's Adai who makes the catch. And he's short of the first down at the 50-yard line. And so the Colts will probably be forced to kick it away. Down by 9, but at least for the moment, they're going to try to line up before Chicago can get set. But the officials are going to stop the clock and spot the ball at the 50-yard line, because you have
Chicago defense ran off the field.
Right, you had an injured player. You had Joseph Adai, and because Adai gets hurt, they have to take a timeout, costing Indianapolis any chance to catch Chicago off guard. Now the Colts will huddle up. Will they go for it is the question. It looked as if they were going to try to catch Chicago, moving personnel in and out, and run the no huddle on 4th and 1. But when Adai got shaken up, that compelled the whistle. Adai now has to sit out at least one play, and at least they will line up to go for it now on 4th and 1.
Dominic Rhodes is the running back. You know, again, they don't have Adai in there.
Rhodes behind Manning on 4th and 1. And they do snap it, and they give it to Rhodes, and Rhodes will not make it. John and I discussing this in the commercial break, and I think we both agreed it's too early to do this because of this reason. Yeah, if you get stopped, you give them the ball at midfield, and all the momentum right back to Chicago as if it wasn't there anyway.
Right, I was sure that they weren't going to do it because I didn't know it was a good decision, but when they didn't have Joseph Adai in there to run it, I thought there's no way they're going to do that. Good penetration there. That's where it all starts. You have to get that middle block. When your middle gets penetration like that on your center, you don't have a chance in short yardage.
That was a Gunley and Briggs conversion. Now it's Forte taking the ball just inside the 45-yard line. And the rookie out of Tulane with make it 20 carries tonight and 114 yards. 50, of course, on that touchdown romp in the first quarter.
Yeah, and again, they just look like the old Bears, the running game and defense scoring, and that's who they are and what they are. And when they play like that, they're still pretty good.
2nd and 7.
They have out-physical the Colts tonight.
To the 40-yard line. And that's Rasheed Davis. And John mentioned that if there was a go-to guy, and Orton mentioned it last night, it was Davis, former Arena League star, was the MVP of the Arena League one year, came in as a defensive back, then been using him as a wide receiver the past couple of years, but he's been hurt, hasn't been that effective, but right now he could eventually be their number one guy.
Right, in Kyle Orton's mind, he's their number one guy. This is a big defensive play for the Colts. They need a stop here.
3rd and 2. Orton will throw it to Forte, and he'll pick up enough for a first down. A 4-yard gain over the middle, stopped by Freddie Keaho.
I was saying earlier that there's nothing about Matt Forte that looks like a rookie, but even the confidence that the team has in him, that Kyle Orton has in him, that the offensive coordinator, Ron Turner, has in him. When you need a big play like this and a big situation like that was, you give it to Matt Forte. Now, you can talk about confidence, but when you show it like that, you know that you have something.
From the 36-yard line. Forte again. Cutting it back to the left side. And he moves confidently for a gain of 8. And John, the other guy who looks different, granted he has experience because he played 15 games as a rookie in 05 when Grossman got hurt, is Orton, but he looks completely different than he did 3 years ago.
Well, he looks calm, you know, and it's tough to come into an opener on the road and be calm. You know, we're talking about cutting and jump cut. That was a perfect jump cut there by Matt Forte. That first one that got him going from right to left.
Orton leads him up on 2nd and 2. And Orton will take a timeout here. That'll stop the clock with 10:55 to play in regulation. The Bears looking for an upset. Up by 9. Matt Forte, one of the stars tonight for the Chicago Bears. Their defense has starred as well. Bears have just taken a timeout. They have 2 left. Indy has only 1 as we go down toward the end of the period. Right now, 10:55 to play. 2nd and 2 for Chicago. And into traffic. This will be Forte. You know, we were talking about Orton, John. He's matured. I mean, when he came out of Purdue, he loved the nightlife. He's gotten married in the last few months. He loved the nightlife so much there were a lot of unflattering pictures about him that made him sort of infamous on the internet. But in talking to him last night, he has the neck beard as well. But it seems as if he's almost a different person in a way.
Well, I think he is. I mean, and you know, I've always said the best friend of a quarterback is a good running game or a good running back, and he has that tonight. That will give you confidence.
On 3rd and 1, off the play fake, going deep, and it's caught downfield by Desmond Clark, who fumbles the ball out of bounds. It'll be 1st down and goal. Desmond Clark off a big year. Freeny put the pressure on that time. Orton was able to get it away. 26 yards on a 3rd and 1.
You see Desmond Clark, he's the inside tight end, and they go play action pass. The Colts are up there thinking that the Bears are just going to run the ball, run the clock out. They go play action pass, and they get Desmond Clark deep. No, but he is a different guy, and I think, you know, when he got the starting position, he realized, okay, you know, now it's mine. I just, you know, I can't follow it up. I have to keep it, and he's ready for it.
Here's Forte. Can't get into the end zone. Inches shy. 2nd and goal.
Yeah, we talked about the wide receivers and go-to guys, and whether it's Rasheed Davis or Devin Hester, or it's going to be Brandon Lloyd. It's been the tight ends tonight. I mean, all the big plays have been made by the tight end. Desmond Clark just there. Greg Olsen made 2 big plays in the first half.
One of them setting up the field goal that ended the first half. 2nd down and goal now. And they're going to give the ball to the fullback this time, and that's Jason McKee, and he's in for the touchdown. The 5'11", 245-pound McKee takes it in, and Lovie Smith and Ron Turner, the offensive coordinator, with that gutsy 3rd and 1 call. You can see the frustration on Manning's face right now as his team is in a huge hole.
They put Matt Forte out here. Here's McKee here. He's a lead back. Watch these blocks right there. That's going to create the hole for him. He gets Kreutz taking his guy to the inside. Garza takes his guy to the outside, and McKee just runs straight between them.
Gold with the point after. (29-13) Chicago. Yeah, you heard that right. Downtown Indianapolis. State capital of Indiana, as Chicago with a 16-point lead right now. The ball goes down into the hands of Courtney Roby, and the Bear coverage is outstanding again. 8:51 remaining. Desmond Clark on a 3rd and 1, setting up that Bear touchdown. 29-16. So now the Colts down 29-13, a 16-point margin. Start from the 14-yard line. Colts' last 3 drives have started at the 16, the 10, and the 14. So they're pinned again, and Manning will throw it over the middle to Rhodes, and Rhodes will come close to getting a first down. Meanwhile, Adai has a head injury, and we don't know whether he'll come back into the game. He was shaken up, and there he is on the sideline, but they go with Rhodes to start the drive. Meanwhile, Dallas Clark is also in civilian clothes right now, so they have lost him. He's been out since early in the game, playing with a short deck here. 2nd and 1. And make a first down on that last, and the pass is incomplete. It's Agunlaye who forced the issue and knocked Manning to the field turf. 2nd down.
And the Bears have just been playing them in nickel defense now with 5 defensive backs, and that's because when they lost Dallas Clark, when the Colts lost him, then they went to 3 wide receivers as their base offense. So the base defense of the Bears has been nickel.
So there is Clark on the sideline, 2nd down and 10 now. The ball is at the 24-yard line. Manning gets it away, and it's caught by Harrison. He'll be 2 yards short of the first down. Tillman makes a stop, and a big 3rd and 2 coming up.
You know, Tillman's played very well tonight, and so is Nathan Vasher on the other side. That they've played a lot of man coverage, and I think that when you play man coverage most of the game against the Colts and Peyton Manning, they usually make you pay for it big time.
Key conversion here for Indianapolis. Under 8 to play. Down by 16. 3rd and the deuce. And the pass caught by Gonzalez, and he has enough for a first down. Needed 2, got 3. Vasher makes the tackle. They'll move the chains.
And that's been the stuff that the Colts have had the most success with tonight are slants. Slants to the outside receiver, slants to the slot, but they need some bigger chunks right now, obviously.
Manning's thrown for 208 yards on 37 throws. To the outside he goes, and those are little chunks right there. Wayne makes the catch.
Look at Peyton Manning. He went over there to talk to Tom Moore, and he wants something else. I'm not exactly sure what he wants, but you know, I think probably what we were just talking about. You know, we got to get some bigger chunks here now, Tom.
Meanwhile, we don't have the strip at the bottom of the screen, and I'm told by Fred Godelli, our producer, it's a problem that emanates from the stadium. So I'll read it off the board for you as much as we can here. 6:49 and ticking down. And on 2nd down and 5, that is caught by Jacob Tammy, the rookie tight end, and he'll move the change, and that'll be a first down up at the 47-yard line with 6:42 to play.
Yeah, Jacob Tammy does a lot of the same type of things that Dallas Clark does. You know, can play in the slot, can play tight end, more of a receiver type tight end than a blocking type tight end.
At the 47-yard line now. Rhodes repositions. Manning out of the gun. Here comes the rush. They get it off to Harrison. He gets a block from Wayne, but only enough to spring him for another yard or so. Good coverage here. Alex Brown, and then Tillman finishes him off, and they'll spot the ball at the 50.
Ineligible downfield, number 74 offense, 5-yard penalty. First down.
And then move it back. Charlie Johnson ineligible downfield, number 74.
You know, the whole thing that the Bears have done tonight, I always talk about pressing the line of scrimmage, but they had Brian Urlacher up in this gap all night. I mean, you take Urlacher where he is on a rookie center, and that has been a big, big problem for this Colt offense.
And in a way, it's gone a little unnoticed because Urlacher's a name we haven't mentioned that much tonight, but he's been very effective clogging it up inside. 1st and 15. And to the outside, here's Wayne, and Wayne will get bumped out of bounds by Vasher's forearm up at the 49-yard line.
But what they do, and you just saw it on that last play, it's been a pretty big problem. They put both of them in the A gap.
After the play, personal foul on the defense. Headbutt. The down will count. Second down, 15-yard penalty.
Whoa. Very costly. He didn't announce the number.
And a first down, Indianapolis.
Ooh, that is a big play.
Yeah, I mean, they're picking up these little gains in dribs and drabs, and then all of a sudden, it's a Gunlea, I think, who was called on with a headbutt.
Gunlea's 93 right there, yep. Those are the types of things that drive coaches crazy. I'm sure what Lovie Smith would say, we didn't need that.
At all. From the 36. Manning under pressure, and he's going to get sacked from behind by Alex Brown. Back to the 43-yard line. A 7-yard sack by Brown.
Alex Brown came from the backside of Peyton Manning. I think he felt a little pressure to the inside. Watch Alex Brown here. He just pushes Tony Hugo right back into Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning started to try to get out to the right side, and Alex Brown caught him from behind.
5 minutes to play in regulation. 2nd and 17. And that's caught by Gonzalez, and Gonzalez is out of bounds at the 41-yard line, and that's going to set up a 3rd and long, and a very key 3rd and long. It's still a 2-possession game. I mean, it's 16 points, but it seems like a lot more right now because Chicago's been dominant.
Yeah, they've been dominant, and they've been physical, and they've really controlled the line of scrimmage. But the other places they control is the outside wide receivers. They control those guys all night, too.
And 3rd and 15, Manning has to check it down to Rhodes. Rhodes takes it to the 33, and they're going to have to go for it on 4th down here because the clock is ticking down, and they only have 1 timeout left plus the 2-minute warning.
So they can get a first down here, then they can take a shot.
4th and 7. Have to get to the 26-yard line. Manning stepping away from pressure. And it's incomplete. It's thrown a little low, intended for Gian Robinson, the guy who's replacing Clark at tight end. Peyton's shaking his head as he comes off the field. Chicago has the ball and a 16-point lead.
I think our defense is going to be great this year. We have everyone back from a couple years ago for the most part. If we play fast, we make a lot of plays and get takeaways, we're going to be good this year.
I love our guys on the D-line, to our linebackers, to our secondary. You know, I go to war with them any day.
The Chicago Bears, not a very good preseason. A lot of changes, coming off a 7-9 last place finish in the NFC North, but right now in control of the game, up by 16. Will take as much time as they can off the clock, and Indianapolis can stop it only once, plus the 2-minute warning. This is Kevin Jones. And John, as we look at the Bears offensive leaders tonight and what they have done, aligning the starters, and there's Forte with that big night, and Clark with a couple of big catches. Orton with efficient numbers. And you know, John, we do so many games, and you come in and you get a feeling for a game, and you think, you know, Indianapolis is going to open up a new stadium, and Peyton's going to come back and play well enough, and they were a much better team last year than Chicago was.
And the Colts always start off strong. They're always good in September and October.
Get a flag down here for encroachment. Thus a free play, and Kevin Jones will go to the outside.
Offside.
And pick up a first down.
68 at the snap. The decline. Result of the play. First down.
And then, you know, it's kind of funny. You sit there and you watch and listen to the guys last night. The Colts haven't lost a game in September, October since they lost to Kansas City in October on Halloween Day in 04. But that figures to go go down the drain tonight. We're sitting there with, Lovie Smith and Kyle Orton, Urlacher yesterday, and it's not as if they were exuding confidence. Jones stopped at the line of scrimmage, but you got the feeling that, hey, you know what? Maybe we're not seeing something that they're seeing. Either that or they're whistling in the dark.
Well, they were pulling a lot of confidence from the Super Bowl game of a couple years ago that Lovie Smith thought that they could have won that game, should have won that game, if they could just stop the run. They couldn't stop the Colts run, so they came into this game saying they're going to press the line of scrimmage, they're going to tackle well, and they're going to stop the run. And what did the Colts run for? Like 45 yards.
Yeah.
And they did it. And I think this was a heck of a coaching job by the Bears. And I think they had a great plan offensively. I think they had a great plan defensively.
Here's Jones, and that'll be a first down. Lovie Smith, one of the things he also said was, hey, the pupil has to win at some point, and tonight's going to be that point.
Yeah, and there's still something to being physical. We can talk about, quarterback here, wide receiver here, running back here, but just going in there, and this is a very physical game. It's a tough game. And if you play it more physical and tougher than the other guy, a lot of times you can win that way. And that's a feeling that I have for the Bears tonight.
At the 43, final play before the 2-minute warning. Jones wrapped up there. 2 minutes to play here in Indianapolis. The Chicago Bears have come into town and stunned the Colts 29-13. If you went back a couple of months and thought about opening weekend, Manning and the Colts lose to the Bears big. Brady hurt and maybe out for the season, we don't know. And Brett Favre leads Jets to victory.
Where'd those things come from?
Where'd any of that come from? 2nd and 14, and Jones gets upended here. And Indy will take its final timeout. Indianapolis, brand new, spanking brand new Lucas Oil Stadium, where Lovie Smith is not that far away from going down as the coach for the first victory.
And he won't overreact to it either. I mean, both he and Tony are those same guys, that say, you have a system, believe in your system, play your system, and just go on to the next one.
Stay with it. There's a flag. Jones, the ball carrier.
Holding. Number 57 offense. That penalty's declined. 4th down.
John Parry calling it on Kreutz. Special day today, by the way, on September 7th. If you go back 100 years, the 100th birthday, 100th anniversary of the birth of Paul Brown. Without question, one of the most instrumental figures in the history of the NFL. Some people would rank him as number 1.
Right, as an innovator. I mean, most of the things that coaches do today are a big part of the things that coaches do today, just like full-time coaches, playbooks, players' meetings, films, all those things were started by Paul Brown.
Maynard to punt, Ratliff to run it back.
Colts have to come on a big-time punt block here.
And away they go, but Maynard gets it away. And Ratliff will fair catch it at the 18-yard line. So without a timeout at their benefit, a minute and 40 to play. Time to put somebody up. That's a pretty good-looking horse trailer. John, you realize where we've come with this thing?
It's too fancy, I think. I think we got to get back and dirty it up a little.
We gave Plaxico Burress, we had to get off the air for the convention the other night, but we gave the Horse Trailer Player of the Game award to Plaxico Burress. Game 1. And tonight,
are we both going to get a vote right here?
What do you think? We should, yeah. Who do you like? I know who I like.
I like Matt Forte. I mean, I thought that he was the glue that really held that whole offense together. Do you like someone else?
Nope, unanimous. I was hoping you'd say that.
Okay,
I mean, the defense was great, but he had that 50-yard run. Manning will now throw it over the middle, and it is incomplete because coming in is Mike Brown to whack it away from Reggie Wayne.
You know, we didn't hear a lot of Mike Brown's name tonight because he's been playing that deep safety position. You know, he was one of those, tough safeties that they used to bring up, and Lovie Smith said last night, every time we bring him up close to the line of scrimmage where he likes to play, that's where he got hurt all the time. So he said, we're not going to do it anymore. And for most of the game tonight, Mike Brown has been back here in that deep safety position.
2nd and 10. Dump it off underneath to Rhodes. And then he thread his way up to the 23-yard line. Alex Brown got into Peyton on that pass. So Peyton has taken a lot of contact tonight.
Yeah, he said he wanted to get that first whack in the head, and I think he's probably had enough tonight because this Bear defense for most of this game put a lot of pressure on him.
Whacked out. Be a first down. To the 31-yard line goes Reggie Wayne. We're under a minute to play in the 4th.
Yeah, and I don't know that they have to do this anymore.
Colts 56 straight weeks, and that would figure considering how they played through the years. And we mentioned that long winning streak over 3 seasons in September and October, but with Tennessee winning, the Tennessee Titans for the moment will be in first place in the AFC South.
I'm not exactly sure what they're getting out of this.
No, me neither.
I mean, I don't think they need this. I mean, Peyton Manning getting knocked down here, getting shots at this one's over.
Mark Anderson came in on that one. So for Manning tonight, you look at the numbers, 258 yards. You figure, okay, that's pretty good. But then you always have to divide that by pass attempts. And the number of pass attempts is 48. So for Manning, an unmanning like 0.2 yards or so.
I think the big thing for the Colts and Peyton Manning is that he got through it and got healthy. And will it be okay tomorrow? Will he be okay Tuesday, Wednesday? You're coming back to practice and getting ready. I think that's a big thing. And if those answers are yes, then the Colts are going to be okay.
And the game ends on Mike Hart's first carry of his career, the rookie out of Michigan, with one more play now. Manning throwing underneath, and the pass is incomplete, and now it is officially over. So the Chicago Bears have come into Indianapolis and ruined the party at brand new Lucas Oil Stadium. Tony Dungy congratulating Lovie Smith. The Bears go to Carolina next week. And it's the Wendy's post-game report that comes up on the other side of this break. These messages from your local NBC station.